Good afternoon. I actually really enjoy being on the stage, not only because I'm an egomaniac and love hearing myself speak and people staring at me, but because it's a wonderful opportunity to introduce our brand to people. And I think Corey left the room, but Corey hit the nail on the head for me why these media post events are so enjoyable. And a lot of it comes down to the fact that we get to sit with a lot of like-minded professionals, or actually folks who think very differently than us actually, and talk earnestly about really interesting things in our business. And then more importantly, it's the opportunity to actually spend some time and get to know each other and ultimately be able to have some more challenging conversations because we've built those relationships. So thank you guys for letting me participate in these discussions and be part of that community and build those relationships. Secondly, it's the opportunity for me to introduce Atmosphere for many of you guys. And I look out across this, the folks here kind of sitting here, and I know that, a handful of you are longtime colleagues, people who have worked in the business for a long time. We happen to know each other really well. I know that a handful of you are actually currently Atmosphere advertisers. Thank you. Super appreciate that. I also know, and I am not blind to the fact, that many of you are sitting there, and until maybe you caught the content yesterday, a sign, or maybe even like a few moments ago when I came up on stage, you had no idea what Atmosphere is, and you still had no idea that Atmosphere is a media company. And that kind of leads me to what my hope is for the next 45 minutes, right? You said 45, John? Okay. All right, now I know you're paying attention. Here's the other part that I'll disagree with Corey, is you guys are actually captive. You do have to listen to me right now. But let's make it quick and painless and hopefully something that's productive for you guys. Out of this, here's what I hope, all right? That Atmosphere, you walk away with first and foremost an understanding of who we are as a media company, and that we're a media company that's actually forged into a new lane of advertising and video advertising that's distinct and different and pioneering to a different place that was previously kind of disregarded by any other kind of entertainment experience and other entertainment company. And secondly, most importantly, for all of you really as marketing professionals, investment and planning professionals, that consequently, because we've done that, we've actually created a new lane and new opportunities on how to reach customers, how to engage people at different points throughout their life, grab new moments of attention, and change their decisions to make different types of purchasing outcomes and move the businesses that you're responsible forward. When I think about Atmosphere, if you talk to me for a few minutes, you get a sense that I really enjoy what I do in my job. And there's two kind of reasons that foremost push that. One, and we just talked so much about this, and the table is sitting right now, and there's so much discussion we talked about that was so relevant to what I feel like is really purposeful to Atmosphere's business as well, is that we're in a business that a lot of advertising solutions right now are pretty opaque and complex, right? They rely on proprietary tech, proprietary algorithms, right? Or Google and Meta, and they're like, hey, trust us, this is how you do it. Atmosphere could not be more straightforward and simple and transparent. Hannah just said a moment ago, I need to understand something to trust it. Hopefully, out of this, you get a really great understanding. You can trust and understand it. And second, is it's at the same time super simple, incredibly distinct and different, as I said in a moment, offers up a new way to think about how you advertise and how you reach a consumer. So let's start with the simple part. Atmosphere is very simply just a streaming entertainment service that's made up of roughly 30 plus channels. All of you are very familiar with this is, both as media professionals, as consumers, when you sit back in your home to watch and choose the entertainment of your choice. But here's the distinct point. You actually can't find us in your home. And that's purposeful and intentional. The purpose of Atmosphere was to fix what was otherwise an entertainment experience that was pretty crappy and devoid of something fun and entertaining and enjoyable to watch, and to make it fun, real simple to watch TV when you walk out of your house. To make this point a little more salient, let's take it back to a place that we're all familiar with, right? This is, or maybe my own media habits here, sitting back on my couch, feet up, listening to some analysis of the sports world, right? Passionate sports fan. This is a perfect segment for me. Maybe the day after a game as they analyze it or they preview the upcoming game, right? You also might be like myself and be a passionate devotee of Liv Benson and her team of SVU detectives, right, who are fighting crime and making New York a safer city from all of those, nefarious individuals. Perfect, again, if I want to sit back, those precious few days where I actually get 2 hours and I can sit back, no commercials, bang out 3 episodes, and relax after a long day. But here's the problem. You take that same content and you port it into a new space, a place when I leave my living room when I watch TV, it's much less enjoyable. I can barely hear these guys, nor do I want analysis right now of that, right? Same thing, as much as I love Detective, or now Lieutenant Benson, right? I don't want to sit down 17 minutes into an episode and watch something that's storyline driven, that's highly dependent on when I sat down and when I leave for the entertainment experience. I want a sports experience that's going to show me the highlights of last night's games. That's going to preview the upcoming games. It's giving me all the stats, relative info, right? Fantasy info that I want to know as a sports fan so I can put down my phone, be entertained, and be informed. And I want an entertainment experience like Alpine TV, one of our favorite channels, which shows people doing awesome, inspiring, amazing things, often really true social TV, because it makes you turn to a true stranger and go, did you just see that? In other words, we get excited at Atmosphere because we finally made it able for people to enjoy TV everywhere. We made content that's visually arresting, not storyline driven, not relying on audio, and quite fun to watch in the environments where we are present. Because we bid this, and because we brought a distinct market and something new into the marketplace, we actually scaled really quickly, right? I had a few conversations too, and sometimes the light bulb goes off, you go, oh, I don't know what Atmosphere, but I realized that I've watched it, right? You might be one of the 150 million people who have eyes on screens every month watching Atmosphere in different places like bars, restaurants, gyms, hotels, spas, salons, auto care facilities, medical offices, professional offices, and handfuls of other places where they put a TV for the purpose of entertaining you with moments where you have distinct attention. It might be 5 minutes or it might be 90 minutes, as people often find themselves watching Atmosphere in a bar or a restaurant. But here's where we transition, right? That's interesting. That's why the product, I think, matters. That's why the product entertains people. It's why we are in 60,000 locations and every single DMA. But the second thing I asked you, hopefully you walk away from, is thinking about, all right, I'm a marketer. What's the value in this for me? Why does this matter? Why is this interesting, right? And a couple different pillars that I think help us think about where that value proposition comes in. First, every single one of those 150 million people are an ad-supported viewer. Unlike much of that television viewership, or even the mobile viewership that you have in your hand, where people are avoiding ads, every single one of those is now watching ad-supported TV, ads that they can't skip, and they're going to enjoy and be part of their experience. But here's where I actually think it gets really fun, the next pillar. Every single one of these 150 million people don't need to see an ad to motivate them to leave their house and make a purchase. They've already left. They're out. They're active consumers. They're immediate potential customers of yours. They're going about their daily lives, moving to and from places that can be highly contextual and relevant for the things that you want to advertise to them. You paused. Okay. I had a decent rhythm going there. Oh, here we go. All right, those two are just for like two of kind of the four pillars that we think about how we can create diverse solutions for you and new solutions, right? So the first one's about kind of like taking this opportunity to utilize Atmosphere, which is sort of reestablished ad-supported television at scale. The second one is think about people who are in different moments of attention, right? Opportunities to reach them at distinct points in their lives. The third one kind of comes down to this idea of proximity, right? You can now run, if you're a retailer or if you're a packaged good, you can run a national campaign that only serves within a mile or 2 miles of the actual purchasing place that it's going to happen. You can only, if you're a QSR, if you're a restaurant, you can serve within close proximity of where you're trying to drive people to make those purchases and make a decision to take their family out to eat or meet their friends up for a meal. And lastly, an opportunity, context came up, right? Yesterday, there was a great discussion that was led about context and the value of context and thinking about how it can impact. There's a way with Atmosphere to think about context and taking context to a way that can redefine it in a way that's more impactful than it really ever has been. For tens and millions of people, and of course Jason had to take off this morning, right? But for tens of millions of people every day, they're walking into environments where they're making decisions about what to drink, alcoholic, non-alcoholic, right? So if you are a beverage, alcohol, liquor, spirit advertiser, the opportunity to create national presence for people in highly relevant environments, and then take it one step further, many of those places are actually moments where that actual purchasing can take place in that very second. Think about if you're a health or fitness related advertiser, you have a health and fitness focus on your particular brand. You can go out and buy a behavioral target and follow those people around the internet, or you can actively put an ad in 6,000 gyms across the country where people have already gotten off the couch, laced up their shoes, and they're actively working out and telling you that fitness matters to their lives. And even if you're not a brand where the context is a perfect fit, every night in bars and restaurants, right, people are eating, they're spilling. Think about if you're Thai, the ability to craft a message that relies on the fact that you now know exactly where they are watching that ad. Context can take on more than just the environment. It can take on content as well. Maybe it's a user error. Cool. Oh, can we go back one? Or I can. Context can relate to content, right? In 2 weeks, we're going to light up one of our favorite pop-up channels that I'll run for the next month, Halloween TV, showing all the spooky and fun moments that make that holiday one that's particularly relevant for adults and children alike. If you happen to be a confection, candy, or chocolate advertiser in which that's your Super Bowl, I may have heard, this is a perfect opportunity to own the moment of Halloween with incredible contextual relevance. Sports, we know, play a huge part in so many advertisers' media plans and their opportunity to get in front of consumers. Whether you're an official marketing partner or not, we know that these are massive moments of engagement. But if you pull back the aperture, people watching sports in their own home is only one part of the equation of where I watch sports. Key moments, people actually head out in droves to watch key sports outside of their living room. Every night, millions of people, whether it's NFL Sundays, college football Saturdays, Thursday night football, or your NBA and MLB games every single night of the week, Atmosphere is present and adjacent for that sports experience. It's an opportunity for partners like already who have worked with Atmosphere, the Pepsi, State Farm, and others, to take advantage of Coke, right, of those sports moments and be a part of the full fandom experience for those who are watching in places that aren't just in their living room. We think about, I've had the question a lot of times in markets, like, what do people run? How do you think about creative? 80% of marketers run their standard video creative and Atmosphere, just like you would in any other video environment. It works. We've done, campaign outcome. We see it performs and delivers a KPI. Where I get excited is when a marketer and an advertiser leans in with us and says, that's a different type of environment. How do I create a different texture that's meaningful? Pepsi, instead of just running their national spot for their NFL campaign, right, textures it locally. So if I'm a Buffalo Bills fan, that ad feels specifically tailored to me, and the same if I'm watching in New England or Miami or Pittsburgh. LifeLock, thank you very much, has took an ad that's really relevant, right? It's showing people out in their daily lives. People are watching in their daily lives. Just a small texture makes that ad a little bit more relevant, where the audio necessarily isn't perfectly relevant, but makes it highly visual and have a great impact on reaching people, right, at distinct moments of these attention. We also have the opportunity to lean in a little further and create things that are really highly custom and creative. We did this for our partners at Jack Daniel's a couple years ago as they relaunched the brand, right? And we took their imagery and their video and made a spot that was perfectly tailored. Again, they're one of those advertisers that not only is highly contextual, but relates completely to that point of purchase. Or, as you see with 7-Eleven here, something that we show our partners there very recently. Not only the opportunity to take the video and contextualize it with great visuals, but to tap into a live API so that every time that ad shows, whether it's in Kentucky, Rhode Island, or up in Seattle, it's pulling in the nearest 7-Eleven location. So if I get motivated to go buy that pizza, I know it's only just a mile away, and I can find that based on the directions that it's showing me there. And sometimes it all comes together in an award-winning way that drives amazing results for a brand by tapping into all the different capabilities that we can employ with Atmosphere. Jack in the Box came to us at the end of last year and they said, we need help. We need to drive more people in our store late at night and buying our late night menus, right, to drive sales later in the day and create, and create a more passionate customer in those moments. So we went to the drawing board with them and we created a highly visual creative, right, that makes sense to feature all those mouth-watering menu items. We then said, what's the right place, the right time, and the right proximity to run it? So we ran it only in bars, places where people are naturally going to get hungry and might have the ability to actually purchase their own food there. We then ran it only between, pretty sensible, the hours of 8 p.m. and 1 a.m., right, when those menu items are actually featured, and it only rendered within 2 to 3 miles of a Jack in the Box location. Right creative, right environment, right proximity at the right time, all working together, that drove incredible results for the brand and had a massive impact in moving that business objective forward. I told you I'd hopefully make it quick, simple, succinct, so I appreciate the captiveness of your audience and, as I said, the great conversation that we have throughout the night. Looking forward to seeing you guys tonight, and you can see Atmosphere for yourself in a wonderful bar location, Bolden Acres. So thank you guys.
All right.